The hall of the Shalari throne world gleamed with pale silver light as the human warrior entered. His steps echoed against tall pillars carved with flowing patterns that resembled drifting streams of ice. Every alien eye in the room followed him, some with curiosity, many with disdain, and one pair with outright contempt. That pair belonged to the Shalari princess, a young royal known for sharp judgment and sharper words. Her name was Lyra, and she sat on a high seat to the right of the throne with her chin lifted and her mandible plates pulled in a faint sneer. Human warrior was named Ray. He walked with a calm confidence. Though he had been warned that the Shalari considered humans unrefined, unimportant, and unworthy of royal affairs, even so, he carried himself with steady discipline born from years of service and hardship. His posture did not falter, even when Lyra's voice cut through the hall like a cold blade. "So this is the human our scouts dragged from the battlefield," she said in a clear, ringing tone. He looked smaller than I expected, and slower too. A wave of soft laughter rippled across the noble's Ray, neither bowed nor reacted. He simply stood in the center of the hall and waited for the queen to address him. This only made Lyra narrow her eyes further. "Perhaps he does not understand our language," she continued. "Or perhaps his mind is too simple to grasp the meaning of a royal hall." Ray finally spoke. His voice was steady and respectful, not rising to her bait. "I understand your language, princess," he said. "And I understand halls and courts as well as I understand battlefields." The hall fell silent. A single response was enough to make several nobles shift in shock. No outsider spoke to Lyra so directly. Lyra rose slightly from her seat, her pale armor catching the light. "You dare speak back to me, human," she said. "There is courage in you, but courage without sense is only noise." Ray shrugged in a small motion. "I answer when spoken to. The queen of the Shalari." A tall, regal figure named Relith finally lifted a hand. Her long crest shimmered in blue and silver as she spoke. "Enough?" "Lyra," she said, "the warrior is our guest and stands under my protection." Lyra sank back into her seat, though her glare never left Ray's face. Ray kept his attention on the queen. "I was told you summoned me for a reason," he said. Queen Relith nodded. "The war at our borders grows worse," she said. "Our soldiers report how you saved one of our outposts by holding the line even after your unit fell." Ray nodded. "I did what any soldier would do." "Not so," the queen replied. "Many would flee. Survival is easier than sacrifice." The nobles murmured among themselves. They did not expect a human to be given such praise. Lyra scoffed. "One act of bravery does not make him worthy of standing here." Her voice was sharp and dismissive. "He is still a human, a species with little discipline, a species that charges into danger without thought." Ray remained still. Though her words hit with the force of thrown stones, he had grown used to alien arrogance on this world. But Lyra wielded it with unusual precision. Still he stayed silent, refusing to give her the reaction she likely wanted. Queen Relith looked between her daughter and the human warrior. Her eyes softened with a hint of something ancient and heavy. "There is more to this gathering," she said in a firm tone. "Today we invoke the pact of unity signed generations ago between our race and yours." Ray frowned slightly. He knew of no such pact. The rest of the court watched with interest, some leaning forward. Lyra tilted her head. "What ancient dust are you bringing up?" Mother Relith stood, the full height of her form impressive even among her own kind. Her ceremonial mantle hung behind her like flowing starlight. "According to the pact of unity," she said, "if a human warrior saves a royal bloodline during a time of crisis, the queen must bind that warrior to the line itself through sacred union." The hall erupted in whispers. Lyra froze in her seat. Ray blinked. Slowly none of them moved for a long moment. Then Lyra found her voice. "Surely this is a misunderstanding," she said. "This human saved soldiers perhaps, but no member of the royal family." Queen Relith stepped toward Ray, Her voice dropped to a softer tone. "My daughter was at the outpost," she said. "She was inspecting the defense lines in secret to judge true strength and discipline." Gasps rose. Lyra's eyes widened. "You were at that outpost," Ray said as realization dawned. "You were the one I shielded when the barrage struck." Lyra rose to her feet fully now. Her plates trembled with anger. Embarrassment, or a mixture of both. "You protected me because you threw yourself forward without thinking," she said. "Even now you act like a reckless beast rather than a trained warrior." Ray raised an eyebrow. "I moved because you were about to be hit," he said. There was no time for debate. Lyra crossed her arms. "Exactly what I mean, no thought, only reaction." Ray finally let irritation flicker in his voice. "And yet you stand here alive because of that reaction." Few nobles gasped. Some smirked. Others watched as if witnessing a duel. Queen Ralith raised her hand for silence. Her voice carried the tone of final judgment. "And because he saved you, Princess, the Pact demands recognition." Lyra stared with disbelief. "You cannot mean to claim the ancient pact now," she said. "It has not been invoked for ages." "It does not matter how long it has been dormant," the queen replied. "It is law and must be honored." Ray stepped forward. "I do not wish to offend your customs," he said. "But what exactly does this pact require?" Queen Ralith looked at him with steady eyes. "It requires a binding of lives," she said. "Warrior Ray, by the law of the Shalari throne, you are to be joined to my daughter as her husband." The hall fell into perfect silence. Ray almost felt the sound of nothing pressing around him. Lyra leaned forward as if she had misheard. "My husband," she said. "You want me to bind myself to this human warrior who cannot even follow court etiquette and charges into danger without logic." Queen Ralith nodded once. "It is the decree of the pact, and our survival may depend on honoring our ancient promises." Ray exhaled slowly. He looked between the queen and the princess. Lyra's eyes flickered with confusion, outrage, and something else he could not name. He shook his head. "If the pact truly leaves no choice, then I will honor it," he said calmly. "But I will not force the princess into anything she does not want." Lyra jerked as if struck. Her voice rose sharply. "I do not want such a union, but law binds the throne as much as it binds me." Ralith turned to her daughter. "This marriage is not punishment. It is unity of two strong lines," she said. "The throne needs stability, and the people must see cooperation between races." Lyra looked away. Her usual confidence faltered for the first time in the conversation. Ray bowed his head slightly. "Princess," he said, "you have no reason to respect me, but I will not dishonor your traditions." She glared at him again. "You speak as if you hold yourself above disrespect. You confuse restraint with strength." Ray met her gaze. "Maybe so, but restraint keeps me steady, and steadiness is what kept you alive at the outpost." The hall buzzed. With hushed voices, Lyra clenched her jaw. But she said nothing. Queen Ralith lifted her hand. "Then the pact is recognized, and preparations will begin." Lyra sank into her seat like a warrior forced to accept defeat. After the announcement, the hall dispersed, and the queen ordered guards to escort Ray to the guest chambers. But Lyra moved ahead of them. She approached Ray directly. Voice was lower now, though no less sharp. "You may have saved my life, but do not think you have earned my respect," she said. "This marriage is ritual, nothing more." Ray nodded. "I understand." She stared at him, waiting for some sign of anger or frustration. But he remained calm. That only seemed to irritate her further. "You humans hide your emotions behind stillness," she said. "It makes you unreadable, like a wall of iron." Ray gave a faint smile. "Or maybe it is simply discipline." Lyra narrowed her eyes. "Do not pretend discipline is enough to stand beside royalty." Ray shrugged. "Never asked to stand beside anyone. The universe placed me where I needed to be." Her steps faltered briefly, but she recovered quickly. "Then do not fall behind in this union," she said. "If you bring shame to the throne, I will not shield you. I never asked for a shield, Ray replied. I know how to walk forward alone. That response unsettled her in a way she could not explain. She turned away and walked off with quick strides in. The following days, the palace shifted into ceremonial preparation. Ray trained with Shalari warriors to understand their customs and expectations. They watched him with skepticism at first, but his ability and discipline quickly won their attention. He moved with precise strength that contradicted the princess's accusations of recklessness. Though she still mocked him whenever given the chance, her comments grew less cutting over time. One morning, she went to the training yard and watched him from the shadows. He moved through defensive forms, taught by Shalari masters, even though he had learned them only a day earlier. His focus was unwavering and his movements smooth. Lyra tilted her head. She had expected him to struggle. Instead, he adapted swiftly, absorbing every detail. When he finished, he noticed her and bowed lightly. Princess, he said, did you need something? She stepped out from the shadows. You learn quickly, she said. It is unusual for your kind. Ray simply nodded. I adapt when needed. Lyra hesitated, then spoke again. You protected me without knowing who I was. You charged forward even though the chance of survival was low. Why would a human do that? Your people value individual freedom, yet you act with such selflessness. Ray took a breath. Because to me a life is a life whether royal or ordinary, and because on every battlefield I made a promise that no one under my watch would fall if I could PR.